Hi, my name is Terry, and you're watching Terry Tells the Story. Today, we're talking about the Viking Code of Pain. You've heard the legends of the Berserkers, but the real war wasn't fought with an axe. It was fought against the Atlantic. Imagine sitting on a wooden chest for 3 weeks in a permanent state of soaked to the bone. There are no fires on a longship. One spark and the tar-soaked hull becomes a floating funeral pyre. You eat your meat cold. To survive, you wear the skin of the North, a base layer of linen, a mid-layer of wool that holds heat even when wet, and an outer layer of reindeer fur, hollow hairs that trap your body heat like a biological thermos. When the temperature drops low enough to turn your skin blue, you don't find a heater, you find your brother. Vikings survived by sharing sleeping bags, using their combined body heat to keep their hearts beating through the midnight frost. This wasn't just survival, it was the ultimate bond. They lived for the pain. In the Viking way, once you stopped feeling the cold, you were already a ghost. They hugged the coastlines like predators, landing at night to build the one thing that they couldn't have at sea, a fire. They cook, they sharpen their steel, and they tell stories of a world that was destined to end in ice. And why did they do it? Because in the North, a safe life was a forgotten life. They traded comfort for a seat in the sagas. They weren't just sailors, they were the architects of a new world, built on the edge of a blade and the strength of a stitch. If you survived the salt spray of the Atlantic, your reward was a 3-month siege against the ice. Welcome to the Viking winter, a season where the budget was measured in every grain of barley and every stick of firewood. This wasn't a cozy cabin. The longhouse was a windowless tunnel of peat smoke and the stench of cattle huddled at the far end for warmth. While the world outside froze solid, the Viking family lived in a pressure cooker of social politics. They didn't have prisons. They had the thing. If you stole, if you lied, or if you showed cowardice, you were brought before the assembly. The law speaker would recite the code from memory. If found guilty of a severe enough crime, you were branded Nithinger, which means nothing. You weren't just exiled, you were erased. Anyone could kill you without paying a single coin of blood money. In the Viking way, your reputation was your only armor. They lived in the shadow of Ragnarok, the prophesied end of the world. They believed that the sun would be eaten and the stars would vanish. But instead of despair, this gave them a terrifying freedom. If the world was going to burn anyway, why not be the brightest flame? This is why they sailed. It's why they fought. Because when the ice melted, the Viking didn't look for safety. They looked for the horizon. They knew that the only thing that outlasts a winter, or even the end of the world, is a story worth telling. You weren't just surviving the cold, you're building the fire for the people coming after you. That is the Viking way. So the Spanish I'm going to be teaching you today is tu palabra es tu alma. Tu palabra es tu alma. And what that means is your word is your soul. If you like this video or you learned something new, drop a like down below. If you have a specific topic that you'd like to see me cover, drop me a comment. And if you'd like to support this work that I do, there'll be a link to the Cashapp in the description box below. We'll see you next time.